Hi, everyone. Uh, I am very excited to be with you all today. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Darshana Rizal, and I am a proud member of AGIP's Adolescent Girls Advisory Committee, or AGAC, as we like to call it in short, and also the Vice President of YUVA, a youth-led youth-run organization here in Nepal. I'd like to pass the mic to Hemina, my co-facilitator, for her introduction.
So my name is Jimena Millán. I am an AGIP Girl Advisor, and I am also AGIP's Vice Chair Youth, and I will be co-facilitating today's event with Darshana. And I'm really excited to having you all joining us today.
So today's event, Girls on the Agenda and at the Table, is super, super close to my heart because it's all about the power of girl leadership. We have worked very closely to make this event ours, and I really hope that you will enjoy and take some key messages back as well. We are here to celebrate how girls are stepping into decision making spaces and sharing what we've learned along the way, and showing the world how powerful we are and how we can bring in the change when we are given the chance. Before we dive in, let's get you all set up. This session is available in three different languages: English, French, and Spanish. If you want to switch to your preferred language, please click the globe icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen and choose your language. At any point during the event, if you have problems with interpretation, please highlight the issue through the chat, and our agent will note that throughout this presentation, you will see three colors being used: purple for English, orange for Spanish, and green for French. We hope that this will enable some of you to follow along the content easily. Please also note that the event is being recorded and it will be uploaded on AGIP's YouTube account as well as amplified through other channels. Just as we had highlighted in the registration form, registering for this event means you are consenting to the possibility of your thoughts and contributions being featured as a part of the during and post event amplification. Next slide, please. Safety. Next slide, please. Yes. So safety is a top priority for AGIP. We ask all the participants to uphold our values of engagement, including respect, empathy, mindfulness, and confidentiality. This is a recorded webinar, and by joining, as I've said earlier, you are giving your consent to share live to be shared live and later disseminated via AGIP's social media and other communication channels. Please refrain from sharing your personal information that might put anyone at risk. If at any point you feel uncomfortable or have concerns, please reach out to our focal point listed in the chat. Let's work together to create a safe, respectful, and supportive space for everyone. Next slide, please. So, before we dive deeper into today's event, let me take a moment to introduce you to AGIP, the Adolescent Girls Investment Plan, and share a little about the work we do and the values that guide us. At AGIP, we envision a world where adolescent girls are at the forefront of shaping their future. We believe every girl should have their voice, choice, and agency to decide the path she will take in her life. Our vision is supported by holistic investments, strategies that address the full complexity of girls' lives and needs, from education to health, safety, and beyond. This approach ensures that the girls, particularly those from marginalized communities, have the tools and opportunities to thrive. Next slide, please. We focus on collaborating with global and national partners to drive political commitments and make evidence-informed investments that improve The outcomes for adolescent girls. At AGIP, our advocacy emphasizes the meaningful engagement, resourcing, and co leadership of adolescent girls. We push for policies that not only support the decisions that impact girls' future, but also actively involve in pushing policies. Through our work, we aim to amplify girls' voices, elevate girls' leadership, and ensure that they are seen as powerful agents of change. Next slide, please. Now, you might wonder, how does Egypt handle all these complex global commitments and investment and involve adolescent girls like myself? Well, that's where AGAC comes in. As a member of AGAC, I've seen firsthand how Egypt simplifies things for us to understand. They don't just tell us what's happening, they empower us to help make decisions, break down complicated ideas into clear and actionable steps. At Egypt, meaningful youth engagement is literally the center to everything they do. That's why we created the Adolescent Girls Advisory Committee. In first cohort, we are a group of 8 adolescent girls and 4 young women from around the world who bring voices and our lived experience to Egypt decisions making spaces. Through AGAC, we're not just participants, we are co leaders, actively shaping policies and decisions that impact us. Being a part of AGAC has truly shown me that our voice matters in spaces where decisions are made. We're not just sharing our opinions, but here at AGAC in Egypt, we are making decisions together, shaping the change that we want to see. AGAC is a platform that empowers girls to influence global decisions, making advocate for policy that prioritizes their rights, needs, and well-being. By working together, we are making lasting impact, proving that girls have the power to make decisions and make the real change happen. I will not speak much about AGAC now because my colleagues and my co-facilitators will definitely continue to speak more on what AGAC actually does. And today's event is actually one of the event that we have created created and the event that we have been designing since the very beginning. So this event itself is an example of how young people like us, how adolescents like us, when given a chance, are able to create a change and make an impact. Now, I'd like to pass the mic to Himina to take us further.
Thanks, Darshana. So here's the agenda, so you can have a look at it. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. And we would love to know more about you, who's here in the room. So for this, we have prepared a small Zoom poll, and let's get started. So, yes, right. Thank you. Next slide. Sorry. So please use the chat and share your name and which organization, project, or initiative are you associated with. You will be given 30 seconds for this. So let's wait 30 seconds. Amazing. I'm seeing so many different organizations. I don't know who else is missing to answer. Amazing. Thank you so much for answering. Let's go to the next questions. So for the next 3 questions, we will actually, yes, we will launch a Zoom poll. for each question. So once the poll is started, you will see the question pop up in your screen, right? And so here we go, and you will still have 30 seconds to respond each question, please. Yes. Since intergenerational leadership and support is a key thing for today's event, we would like to know your age group. So I will also answer. I think I can answer. So I think we have kind of like mixed group age, but like it's great to see that there's so much experience and wisdom especially in this room. So let's keep learning from each other and let's move on to the next question. So question number 3. Yes. So we would like to understand, how do you support girls to be leaders in your community or organizations? Girls can also say how they feel supported. And so 30 seconds from now. Okay, I don't know if you have the results. Oh, yes, we have them. So most of you support girls in education and awareness. That's great. Great, great, great. But it's also very diverse. We also have lots of leadership training, and skill-based training. Great. Okay, so now into the final question. So next slide, please. Okay, so where are the girls in the decision-making processes of your organization? Are they excluded, informed, or consulted? Or is your organization co-deciding, or are there like the spaces completely girl-led? Harder questions, but still 30 seconds, please. How are we going with the poll? Is everything okay? Okay, so most of you support girls, have them in consultants. Okay, okay, okay. Well, it is interesting to see that there are different ways in which girls are involved, right? In this different decision-making spaces. So thank you so much for being for participating in our Zoom call. And it's lovely to see the diversity of engagement levels that girls can have within your organizations. And so we can move on to the next part. Next slide, please. Yeah. So now on the screen, you will see different participation models. In fact, out there is a variety of models for child participation. This means models that allow children have a voice and participate in decision making. We won't dive deep into the details of each of these models, but the links for you to further read about them will be shared, so do not be worried. Next slide, please. I do want to highlight that when we talk about adolescent girls advisory committee models, it is a combination of all of these different group age models that is used. So we work on improving the levels of engagement with girls which means moving from the exclusion of girls in decision-making spaces to a place where decisions can be procreated or even fully girl-led, right, by the girls, while also letting them have their leadership and agency in these processes. I am extremely thrilled to share that we have in today's event 3 girl leaders from 3 different girl advisory committees in the next panel. And this will be very interesting since you will get to see how different model ensures girls' leadership in a different way. So I guess we can go into our opening intervention, which is next slide. Yes. So before we hear from our girl leaders, I would like to invite a super duper special member for this session. So let's welcome Kathleen, who's AGIP's co-chair and Chief Strategy and Engagement Office of Plan International. So Kathleen, you can say hi maybe.
I'm just saying hi.
Okay, so Kathleen, you have been with AGIP since its founding in 2019, and you currently are the co-chair. You're also mentoring 2 girl advisors from AGIP and engaging with youth board members, including me in my role as a vice chair. So we would love to hear your insights on the importance of intergenerational leadership and how to share decision-making with girls, especially nowadays, where we see lots of advocacy spaces focusing on gender equality and girls' rights, but at the same time excluding girls from such spaces. So please, Kathleen, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Jimena, and good to see Darshana. She and I were in Colombia recently together. Love being in this space. And you're right, I've been with AGIP since 2019, and it's been really a meaningful engagement and experience for me, and really honored, along with Joy, to serve as co-chairs, and of course, along with our youth vice chair. So the question is, I just want to set the stage globally, because we're going to hear a lot of concrete examples of what's happening in boards, in countries, etc. But I want to express really a deep understanding of the significance of intergenerational leadership, shared decision-making, and the meaningful systematic participation and engagement of adolescents, girls, and young people. I think first we have to acknowledge that, let's just take international law. It affirms young people's right to be heard, and adults have a responsibility to listen. This is law. And this right, I think, is so fundamental to realizing a spectrum of other youth rights. That's our civil and political rights. And it's just as essential as an adult right to express themselves. So again, this is law. This is so important. Unfortunately, I think Jimena, you mentioned this at the beginning, is that we find ourselves amidst a backdrop of declining political rights and civil liberties. And these rights are now under threat more and more, particularly as we go into 2025. And girls, especially adolescent girls from diverse backgrounds, consistently convey to us via AGIP their desire to participate, decide, lead, and take action on the issues that are most important to them. I think all over the world, girls and young people are stepping up, right, to contribute to your community's resilience, advocating for your protection, fostering social progress, inspiring political change, and recognizing youth participation, leadership, and decision-making is, again, not only a right, but is fundamentally a catalyst for, again, realizing all of these other broader rights that are so crucial. We are just 6 years away from 2030. And we face such an urgent need to focus on and invest in youth and girl participation, as you showed some models earlier, decision-making and leadership. And this is certainly not the moment to take a back seat. In recent years, advocates for girls' rights really have made important strides in ensuring that these perspectives as autonomous, active agents of change are recognized. And we really need to, again, honor those who've come before us. And they have bravely brought attention to the discrimination that arises simply for being young and female, for being a girl. And they further have enriched policy discussions and human rights initiatives. I've been with many of you at the UN, at COP, at HLPF, and having those conversations. So while it's clear that girls now are more visible in these conversations, we must continue working to ensure that they are truly seen and valued. Progress has been achieved, and it's always important to note the progress, but it's still been limited, right? And it's really ignited a powerful response. And I know we're going to hear from the panel in a few minutes about a few concrete examples of how we've seen that. I think just lastly, sadly, we are witnessing, and this was the first part of the question, a growing pushback against these advances that we have been all making together. And that's characterized by a return of paternalism, a rise in, quote, family values, and it's an ethos that often overlooks, I think, the needs of girls, and the rhetoric of protection. So this regressive mindset can be seen in the language that we hear, the diversity that's overlooked, and the shrinking spaces for activism and change. So I just want to say it is an increasing challenging environment, and it's essential that we gather energy and strategies, we remain vigilant, and form alliances like AGIP to make sure that we can continue to safeguard and protect decision making, to intergenerational leadership, and gender equality is so essential. And again, I'm so proud that AGIP, in coalition with so many young people, girl and youth-led organizations, are doing exactly that. So, let's all be together in 2025. There's a lot of heavy work ahead, but I also want to flag him in just the progress we have made. And I'm sure we're going to hear some success stories soon. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for including me. And back over to our moderator.
Thank you so much. And it really touches me when you talk about all the progress that has been made, because at least in my lifetime, that is, I don't know, like 20 years, I do have seen a difference between how girls are involved, at least in Peru. So yes, there is definitely a lot of progress that needs to be acknowledged, but it is true that it's a back and forth, and there's really not much time left, so we should do something. Yes. Okay, so let's go now into the panel. Let's start with our amazing girl leaders. Thank you, Kathleen, again. And now I will pass the mic to Roshna Zubair, my fellow AGIP girl advisor and a fantastic girl leader from Pakistan. So Roshna, please have the mic. It is
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for the introduction and for setting the stage so well. And thank you to Kathleen as well. Your intervention was completely insightful. Now I am extremely excited to introduce you all to our three amazing panelists for today's event. We have Aliyah. Aliyah is from India, and she is a member of the Adolescent Girls Advisory Council of Empower, the Emerging Market Foundation. We have Katrina from Ukraine. She is the member of the Adolescent Girls Advisory Committee of the Global Fund for Women. And we also have Paula, who is my fellow girl advisor from Asia. Before we begin the panel, this is a reminder for all the participants to share your questions for panelists in the chat or through the Q&A feature, as we do have a 15-minute slot for it towards the end. Okay then, let's begin the panel. Welcome to all of you. We are so thrilled to have you here. Okay, so before we begin, I would like to mention that we will be following the order with for answering the questions with Aliyah, then Katrina, then Paula, and we will continue in that order for all of the 3 rounds as well. Is that okay? Okay, so my first question for all of you is, tell us the girl advisory model that you are a part of. What is your core function? And what are some of the highlights from your journey?
Hello, Rishna. It's a pleasure to start this panel. And my name is Alia, and I'm from India. And our Girls Advisory Council has 9 members from all over India, all states over India. And this is our first year as a Girls Advisory Council, and we review proposals together, and we visit NGOs, and then we work a lot on monitoring and evaluation and seeing how organizations are involving youth meaningfully in their organizations, and how youth is centered in the organization and not just a participant or a beneficiary, but they are actually doing something to lead the organization in some way. uh, my highlight, I think there are so many highlights, it's very difficult to pick one or two, but one will be definitely being a part of GAC has been very empowering experience. Representing other girls and ensuring their voice are heard made me feel like I was contributing to something bigger than myself. It's a responsibility and privilege to channel their thoughts into decisions that create a lasting impact. And along the way, I have picked up really cool skills. I have grown immensely in public speaking, decision making, and teamwork. One of the biggest transformations um I think of was gaining the confidence to articulate my ideas well, and being able to speak in front of a lot of people and inspiring them as well.
That is amazing to hear, Alia. You're doing such wonderful things already. And you have so many moments, I'm sure, that stick out to you. And the one that we heard about is also very insightful. And we will now pass on the mic to Katrina. Please take the mic.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Katrina. I'm from Ukraine, and I am one of the advisors, one of the 12 advisors at the Global Fund for Women, uh, where we as a council make decision mainly in the grant making for the proposals we have, and also uh, the main I guess highlight and one of the special things about AGAC, like my AGAC, is the fact that our council is very oriented on the individuality and things that are important to us. So I was engaging in the gender justice process. It's the process where we collect data about different movements in the countries. I was collecting, helping monitoring movements in Ukraine and viewing what actually are the movement of Ukraine, what are the main highlights, what are the main struggles, what I see from my perspective, what are you talking about it. And firstly, I was very grateful to the fact that I am actually was chosen to this role, and that our fellows are looking forward and just trying to find something that are so important to us and something that are actually interested in something that we are interested in. And it's not only with me, because they are often offering each of us proposals that are connected to what are important to us, which we are explaining in the quarter sessions. But going back to this process, for me, it was the most important because I had a chance to view what actually movement in Ukraine, because it's something that you're not thinking oftenly about. What is movement in my country? You know the information, but you're not reviewing how it's goes to the flow. And actually, it gives me understanding of what actually I can more amplify in the Ukrainian gender justice system, how I can help other NGOs I'm engaging with, what are important to talk about even in our with different NGOs groups where we focus on problems and discussing them, and just what can I tell, yeah, even my friends about Ukraine, about what we should prioritize in our work, because well, it's not often discussed. And I was really grateful to hear from older and girls from and women from other parts of Ukraine who was working with different problems. And I guess it was the highlight just because of this personality and because of this feeling of you can have in charge of small pieces, some small problems in your country, and just covering, getting them together. So I guess that was the main highlight and the things I'm grateful in my AGC and the system I like.
It's amazing to hear that you actually have the agency to align your interests and the work that you're doing. And that would only not keep you motivated throughout your work, but also benefit all of the Ukraine and the population of Ukraine and adolescent girls as well. It would certainly empower them a lot, and they can also choose this opportunity to think of the ideas or think of certain problems that affect them the most, and then use them to advocate and help other girls around them. Paula, we will now give the mic to you. Can you please?
Hola, es un gusto compartir este día con ustedes. Bueno, les comento, como habían dicho antes, yo soy parte del Comité Asesor de Niñas de AGIP. La verdad es que para mí ha sido un viaje sumamente increíble, no solo en el ámbito profesional, sino también en el ámbito personal. Comentándoles un poco, nosotras somos 12 chicas asesoras de diferentes partes del mundo. Estoy yo desde Nicaragua, incluso hay gente de Nepal, en fin. Somos muchísimas, hay mucha diversidad y eso mismo nos ha permitido pues crear un espacio muy rico. Y bueno, por otro lado, nosotras nos reunimos una vez al mes y esto también ha permitido crear una red entre nosotras y pues como ya sabemos también, AGIP es una coalición en la cual tenemos contacto con, por ejemplo, Plan Internacional, ¿no? Organizaciones súper grandes internacionales y esto nos ha permitido dentro de nuestro modelo que las chicas asesoras también tengamos contacto con mujeres que están en estas organizaciones, con mujeres que ya tienen una trayectoria y que nos pueden inspirar. Entonces, esta, digamos, ambiente ha permitido que para nosotras sea una experiencia muy rica, muy linda y llena de solidaridad entre nosotras. Y sobre todo de inspiración, porque vemos que sí es posible trabajar con las niñas y que es importante que nuestras voces sean escuchadas. Personalmente he aprendido muchísimo. De hecho, allí realmente fue mi primera, digamos, experiencia internacional. En Nicaragua realmente no hay muchos accesos a este tipo de espacios. Así que cuando vi que había sido seleccionada para participar, yo estaba sumamente feliz. Y bueno, esta me ha abierto muchísimas puertas. De hecho, gracias a allí pude asistir al Foro Mundial de Jóvenes en Benín, que se realizó este año, de UNFPA. Y también he podido organizar otros tipos de trabajos, porque he ganado muchísima confianza en mí misma también y en el trabajo. Y ahí no solamente hablo de mí, sino que todas las chicas han podido ejercer mejor su gobernanza y su liderazgo gracias a AGIP también y sobre todo a AGAC y a la red que hemos creado.
Thank you, Paula. Since I am in the board with you, I completely resonate with what you were saying. And our board is so diverse, and it is so it's such a place of joy to actually sit down and not only talk about how we will tackle certain issues regarding adolescent rights, but also we just in general talk about things like movies, etc., with each other as well. And I think that is a complete form of empowerment for us adolescent girls to connect with each other, and that allows so many perspectives to be shared with each other as well. And I'm also glad that you have so many opportunities with AGIP. For me myself as well, there were many. That was one of the global opportunities that I could have gotten with AGIP. So in so many ways, I'm completely aligning with whatever you have said here. Moving on to the other question, tell us about some of the aspects from your engagement and what are the challenges that you have faced because of these engagements? And also, what more do you think other organizations can do if they are seeking to improve girls' engagement in their advisory bodies? Aliyah, you can please take the mic.
Yes, thank you so much. Uh, I believe that one of the most challenging thing to start with was very simple, very basic time management. Because being a part of goals advisory requires a bit of time, and you're still doing I'm still doing my studies. I'm working a full time job, and squeezing goals advisory into my daily schedule was difficult. It was a challenge at the beginning, and second challenge would be um the sense of responsibility. I know it is very good to to be at an organization and call yourself a goal leader, but when the realization hit me that, oh, now I'm supposed to review all these big organizations that are working really hard and doing awesome work in their own field, and then it just felt like, okay, I have such a big responsibility, and it was a challenge not to make mistakes. I was like, oh, don't make any mistakes. This is such a huge responsibility. But I think with time and with a little bit of understanding my peers where they come from, it subsided. This to answer your second question, I think there is a lot of opportunity to grow. I speak from my own experience. When I joined the Girls Advisory Council, it was first time we were doing it, and in the beginning, I really felt like that I should talk to somebody. I should talk to somebody who has already been a part of the Girls Advisory Council, not maybe from our organization, but there are plenty such things. So maybe it could also become a recommendation that if you are starting a Girls Advisory Council or you have already started, it's a very good time to, mingle with some other organizations and see and just connect the both Girls Advisory Councils together so they can, exchange their thoughts, exchange their ideas, and, bring each other's perspective to the ground.
Absolutely right. When you have so many diverse girls from diverse backgrounds within one board, it is the wealth of perspectives helps you so much. And I do agree with your challenge with times as well and responsibility. When you are in this position, you have to be conscious because you are not only working towards issues that are in any way being a problem for you, but for other girls as well. So that could certainly put you in a position where you think over a lot of things, think over your decisions, maybe even overthink them. But I'm glad you were able to resolve them or even have some sort of understanding of the challenges you have, because that only means that you have worked towards them and looked for solutions to improve them. We will now pass on the mic to Katrina. Katriana.
Hello, I'm really sorry, I had some problems with connection. Could you repeat the question,
right.
like the main we are answering right now?
Yes, sure. Absolutely. Tell us about the aspects from your engagement that have been challenging and what more can organizations do if they want to improve girls' engagement in their advisory bodies?
Well, one of the main challenges that was for me, the fact that I wasn't actually understanding what movement is, and I was like looking to some of the big movements like Me Too, or some of the movements from Latin America that was presented to us. And I was looking like, oh, I don't know anything from my Eastern European context that can relate to this. And I was worried about like, how can I do this? But through actually our studying and connecting with fellows, with each other, I had a chance to learn that movement can be different. And the main thing that unites them is the fact that most of the young society understands some concepts, some problems, some issues you need to share, not from the point that, oh, I can show like they are united, they are work as an association, so it's a movement. Movement is the similar ideas that flowing and that important to grow them in your communities. And it's something that like AGC and generally Global Fund Movement was helping to raise, was helping to get them stronger. So it was one of the biggest challenges. And the second one was connected more to my context, because when you live in a country in war, you often get to the position where you don't know how to share some information with others, because like even then the people are asking like, how was your day? You can share like some positive thoughts as you often like emphasizing, then you're explaining to somebody, but you also understand that, oh, today I found that one of my like people who was teaching me just got killed and other like very traumatic experiences, and you often don't know how to just navigate them and how to share them, and often you just get too emotional to just understand how to talk about it. But for me, the like idea of how to get over it and how to find this, I know, strength to share it and to make it like to give this understanding to others was the idea that you're talking it not for yourself, you're talking it to others who facing this reality in like their close families who actually got their voice silent. And like, even though it's hard to talk about occupation, about the horrors of occupation, about concentration camps and other stuff that like many Ukrainians, girls and just women facing, and the struggles, the rape, it's important to you to just focus and find something bigger than you to express that. I guess that
Thank
was the
you.
main challenge.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think it reflects how strong you are as a person because, firstly, you took the step regardless of knowing too much about the movements, but you were hands-on in about learning the movements. So that shows how strong you are, and the fact that these are sensitive issues, yet you take them with determination and are willing to work towards them. So thank you so much. Now we are handing the mic over to Paula.
Bueno, con respecto a AGIP, realmente para nosotros fue, digamos, el primero, el primer comité asesor de niñas y por ende hemos tenido que aprender durante el proceso. Para nosotras ha sido un poco complejo, ¿no? El estar en prueba y error, porque si bien es cierto, había un diseño previo, cuando lo llevamos a la ejecución no siempre nos sale igual, ¿no? Muchas veces tenemos que hacer ajustes que son necesarios y está súper bien, pero es casualmente es el desafío que más hemos encontrado, que no ha sido un viaje fácil. Realmente al inicio todas las chicas estábamos tal vez un poco perdidas en cuanto a cuál realmente era nuestro rol en esta coalición, cuál era el rol de AGAC, de este consejo en AGIP. Y esto nos ha llevado varias sesiones previas para entenderlo. Y sobre todo acá quiero hacer hincapié en que es un proceso largo, que cuando una organización, una coalición quiere incluir a las niñas, tiene que tener en cuenta, porque es algo que se va construyendo día con día. No podemos solo querer crear estrategias para niñas y decir, bueno, bienvenidas, listo, una sesión rápida. No, es todo un proceso de aprendizaje y desaprender también, muy largo, que dura bastante tiempo. Y para eso se necesitan recursos, dedicación y sobre todo compromiso. Y a medida que las niñas estén claras de cuál es su rol, estas estrategias van a ser efectivas. Así que no podemos pasar por alto o decir, bueno, solamente incluyamos a las niñas, porque esa no va a ser una verdadera inclusión, sino que realmente tenemos que verlo como algo que genuinamente queremos llevar a cabo para que se pueda hacer efectivo y no quede solamente, digamos, en papel, no de que sí, tenemos esto, pero realmente las niñas no están representadas. Por otro lado, que coincido un poco con Alaya, es que las expectativas han sido un poco un problema en el sentido de que hemos tenido que equilibrar, ¿no? Porque todas acá somos voluntarias y tenemos otras responsabilidades. Y si bien es cierto, todas queremos estar en todas las actividades, muchas veces no lo podemos hacer. Entonces también el medir muy bien hasta dónde podemos trabajar y hasta dónde eso también va a afectar en nuestra vida personal. El entender, como decía también Caterina, tengo que estar bien yo para poder ayudar a los demás también. Y que también mi persona es importante en este trabajo. Así que sí, estos son algunos puntos claves que nosotros hemos identificado y que, bueno, solamente me queda decir que es un trabajo que se hace todos los días y que no tengamos miedo a seguir trabajando, que sí se puede mientras lo tengamos bien claro de que esto es lo que queremos y que nosotros queremos que las voces de las niñas sean elevadas al espacio de toma de decisiones.
I absolutely agree with you, Paula, especially when you put into the context that adolescent girls have such a that adolescent girls have such a wide age bracket. So not all of the age group girls are completely intact with what we are doing as a board or what we are trying to work forward to. So trials and errors are okay, and it is also okay to constantly go over what works, what does not work, what could be kept or what could be changed or slightly altered. I know we have done this in Egypt constantly over a lot of sessions, and that not only helped us to be clear or concise about what we are going to do in the future, but also refine our concepts on what we are doing as a board in Egypt. So now we will move on to another question, and this is our last question. What are your top 2 3 recommendations to other organizations and allies that are wanting to include girls in their decision-making spaces?
I think to start with, I think making safe spaces for girls. Organizations should prioritize creating environments where girls feel respected and valued, that girls can express themselves. They can include having maybe female mentors and ensuring that there's some diversity in the leadership as well. Uh, I think secondly, it will be skill building opportunities, workshops on leaderships and storytelling, uh, which can equip girls with tools where they can lead confidently. And we can also pair this with a mentoring program maybe. Um, Thirdly, I think letting girls lead. As I mentioned before, not letting girls or the youth just be their beneficiaries or just be their participants, but also involving them to a more deeper part of the organization, maybe where they are leading something or they are a part of a feedback loop or they are a part of the monitoring and evaluation program and not just participants. I think that will give a lot of trust and responsibility to the girls. Lastly, and most importantly for me, would be creating an alumni network. Uh, as I said before, I struggled a lot to uh, start my journey because there was nobody to talk to. Uh, I had no people or no person where I can go up to and say, okay, I'm struggling here, could you help me up? But if there was a alumni program to keep the uh, it would be great. Or just regular check-ins on the work, the project, and connections where the energy remains the same. Being a part of a GAC has shown me that power of collective action and importance of amplifying their voices, girls from anywhere. It's been a journey of growth, impact, and inspiration. So if just imagine if every girl advisor is there present, uh, such a great energy, and just imagine that room filled with girl leaders.
Rushna, your microphone is off.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Leah. Those are definitely reflections that are worth reflecting over. Now the mic is to Katrina. Please take them.
Thank you. Actually, I can relate like deeply to what before Alia said and what Paula said. One of the main recommendation I have is to just give some times to girls in your like initiatives generally to learn about the bigger picture, like what is international women's philanthropy, if it's girl funding, what is like main movements in your country, actually, in how to navigate them, like what are the examples, because when we were going through the granting process to the abortion in granting abortion rights in the East Africa, we had there's like a few meetings where we learn when we share, when we speak with other representatives from these countries, and to just look in what is philanthropy in a bigger picture. And it actually gave me a lot more understanding about how to change, how to decide in this, and how can I change and decide like what my personal policy, I guess, in my context I can change. And also, I think important thing should be the flexibility of like your process and like opportunities to share with each other like most recent things, what's going on in the world right now. I had the case when like we have monthly meetings with my council where we share like some of the important things that going on in our countries. And I had a chance to speak about Georgia and the things that going on there, the protests. And it was really meaningful for me that just I in one day can be switched and put there to just present in some groups who need our support, who needs to be seen. And I think the last one should be, I guess it was said many times, but give the girls decide what girls can get. I see it through our process of nominating girls artist changemakers. We had a special places, especially for girls, in this like the whole process of giving awards. I'm not sure how many, but like I guess about 10. And we were like all the council was nominated, and two of us were in the board who were reviewing them, who was taking that this should be them because of this and this, and this important for all of us, our girls. Like not all, but like all the girls we see right now. And this something is very important. And though it's said many times that girls need to decide about what girls get, but it's oftenly forgotten and it's very sad.
Thank you. Definitely. It is very inspiring to hear that despite of the complexities, you were able to get training. And I think that only empowers adolescent girls to know that even if any problems they seem very hard or they seem that they cannot be tackled within a short amount of time or a large amount of time, even we can still have platforms that are willing to help us and willing to overcome those obstacles as well. Over to you, Paula. Please take the mic.
Gracias. Bueno, con respecto a mis recomendaciones, en primer lugar, es que no teman en incluir a las niñas en estos espacios, en las organizaciones. Las niñas tienen muchísimo que decir, muchísimo que aportar. Y es fundamental que se les dé el espacio, pero que sobre todo que este espacio estemos claros que tienen que ser espacios ajustados para ellas. Es decir, que sean espacios seguros, de confianza, donde su vulnerabilidad no esté afectada, donde no se vaya a infringir su persona. Eso sí, considero que es algo muy importante que existan políticas de salvaguarda para las niñas. Y este es un punto muy importante que yo agradezco mucho a AGIP por tenerlo muy en cuenta siempre. Como segunda recomendación, es que estas niñas, a nosotras no se nos involucre solo como participantes, como decían anteriormente, sino que se nos incluya desde la parte de los diseños de los espacios. Hay diferentes estrategias, como lo son los grupos focales, por ejemplo, a donde podemos incluir a las niñas para que sepamos también qué existe, qué piensan ellas, cómo se sienten ellas con la estrategia, porque son ellas, estamos trabajando para ellas. No podemos nosotros, ya como adultos, como jóvenes, como organizaciones ya grandes, decir, sí, las niñas necesitan esto. No, tenemos que incluirlas, preguntarles, chica, ¿te parece bien esto? ¿Crees que esto está bien? ¿Qué querés cambiar? Mientras nosotros no tengamos esta plática con las niñas, vamos a seguir haciendo estrategias que no sean efectivas. Tenemos que incluir a las niñas desde el inicio. Y como última recomendación, es que se tenga un diseño de trabajo realista. Como mencioné antes, el trabajo con niñas no es algo que solamente vamos a agregarla a la lista de las colaboradoras, de voluntarias. Realmente es mucho más allá que eso y se necesitan recursos. Por ejemplo, en AGIP, algo que también considero que es una muy buena práctica como organización, como coalición, es que desde un inicio se incluye a las niñas en el presupuesto. ¿Qué implica eso? Que a nosotras como voluntarias también tenemos una remuneración y eso lo utilizamos para actividades de AGIP como tal, ¿no? Para nuestras mismas conectividad, para garantizar que nosotras podamos seguir en AGIP. Y esto me parece algo importante porque en dependencia de la organización, esa ayuda va a cambiar, pero no por eso lo podemos dejar de lado, porque a fin de cuentas las niñas también están trabajando ahí y tenemos que garantizar también su comodidad y que ellas puedan tener pues un espacio accesible. Bueno, creo que eso sería todo y bueno, sobre todo pues que podemos hacerlo. La cosa es que tengamos claro cómo lo vamos a hacer y que no tengamos miedo que en el proceso hayan ajustes. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Paula. I do agree. Firstly, it is very integral to include all brackets of adolescent girls, especially if we are making decisions for adolescent rights themselves. So the girls' opinion needs to be completely added. As for what you said about financing, that is also very important because unfortunately, most issues that adolescent girls face are in some way globally. It's not just that one part of the world is experiencing a certain issue. Mostly it is a shared issue, unfortunately, as I said. So financing and budgeting is very important, and it is that only allows more and more diverse backgrounds to be included within the perspective. And as for the safeguarding policies, we will be going more into it. So if anyone is confused, later for our speaker interventions, you will learn more about it. Thank you so much for all of the panelists once again. And thank you for adding your valuable perspectives in today's discussion. We have learned so much from you all, and I'm sure that everyone is very much more enlightened from today's discussion. I would also like to highlight that as an adolescent girl myself, I have some of the moments when I felt grateful for AGIP as a board and to be a girl advisor myself. So for me, it was extremely empowering to publish my blog with AGIP. I also got to speak on an adolescent youth forum with under AGIP, and we also in AGIP get to co-facilitate a lot of our monthly calls, which I think also allows us to learn a lot more about leadership and basically just build upon our skills as a leader, our public speaking skills, organization skills, and everything involved. So we will be moving on from here. Thank you once again to the panelists. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have just heard from the girl advisors on what works and what we can do better as well if we are trying to ensure that advisory models can truly share the decision-making power with adolescent girls. But of course, like as Paula mentioned before, safeguarding is a very important issue. And not just safeguarding, there are also a lot of feminist allies that have actually paved the way for our generation to lead. So it is important to involve them within this conversation as well. So our next segment is all about such leaders who support our leadership within and beyond the decision-making spaces. Firstly, for our first spotlight intervention, we have Dr. Faith. Dr. Faith is the CEO of Girls Not Brides and also a board member to AGIP. Okay, welcome, Faith.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Faith, I'm now directing the question to you. You are a board member for AGIP, and you are also a mentor to three of AGIP's girl advisors. What has been your experience of directly engaging with adolescent girls, especially in a space where they lead the call by deciding the agenda for the call?
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to say thank you for just what have been shared this afternoon. It's so insightful and encouraging, and I want to thank everybody who's shared all the incredible things they are doing and the insights. So I just want to also appreciate AGIP for this webinar. It's amazing to be able to listen to girl leaders and advisors. So I'm really, really excited. So thank you for having me. I had the privilege of working with 3 girl advisors, Farida, Dashana, and Louisa. And maybe the most interesting thing for me and the most exciting thing for me was that while you go into mentorship thinking you're going to perhaps support or teach, for lack of a better word, I learned so much myself. It was really a great way to exchange perspectives, to exchange insights, to hear the ambitions of our adolescent girls and youth and what they want to achieve, and to be part of a conversation led by the girls themselves. So I really did value that. And I think the most interesting space is that sometimes we as leaders, we think that we have to set the agenda, but what I really loved is that I did not have to set the agenda myself. The agenda was set by the Farida, by Dashana, by Louisa, and we covered all the things they really cared about. And that for me is important because sometimes as mentors, it's easy for us to go with the predetermined ideas, with preconceived what people need to learn, but that ability to step back and listen and say, what can we learn together? And I think it was kind of a dual mentorship. I received as much as I gave. So I felt incredibly blessed to have been able to be part of that conversation. So my insight into that is if anybody else is involved in mentoring or supporting young girls or adolescent girls or young adults, I think it's so important that we listen. I think we as leaders, sometimes we don't listen well, we don't give space. And I found that giving space and allowing, and also what I loved is that idea of giving people time to think. We build networks, we explored perspectives. There was no wrong or right question. We just explored any question which the young ladies came with. And for me, that is what the powerful mentorship is. We don't go with any preconceived ideas. We don't go with a curriculum. We don't go with talking notes. We just arrive and be present and hold space. So for me, my experience was that ability to hold space for each other, to share our learnings, to share our dreams, to share our hopes, and to be able to say, have you thought about doing it this way? Have you thought about approaching this way? And it was so interesting that I actually had a follow-up conversation with Farida and even Dashana, and all of them have gone on to do amazing things. They are supporting incredible girls wherever they are working. And to me, that is a success of they were, in fact, one of the feedback I got is that just having that conversation, you made me think differently. You made me look at different ideas. You made me look at different perspectives. And it's not me providing solutions. It's me saying, have you thought about this? What can this be helpful? Can these networks be helpful for you? And linking and sharing those spaces we have, which I call the spaces of influence. So it was a place of learning for myself, and it was a place for learning for the girls themselves. And I think I want to really congratulate AGIP for doing that and for creating that space, because I have worked with many organizations who claim to be working with young people, but I have not seen that kind of exchange, that kind of space being provided for young people. And I just want us to continue. In fact, what one of the government has told me is that I would like this to continue. I would like us to do more. And I said, actually, what should happen is we create mentors for mentors, like a really masterclass. So those who have gone through the mentorship can also go and give it forward and mentor others. So incredible opportunity. And I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
I'm so glad that you are having such a delightful experience so far. I do have another, thank you, Faith. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Faith.
No problem.
I do have another question for you as well. What are your top recommendations for participants in the room here today with us on making intergenerational leadership stronger?
I think the first recommendation is that we don't always, I have 3 recommendations. The first one is to know that we don't answer. If we go in a space knowing that we are as much as to learn and as well as to give and to receive, really going with an open mind, because you'll be so surprised when we go with preconceived ideas, then that's where we go wrong. Just that openness, going to give and to receive. That's the first recommendation. The second recommendation is that we need to listen, active listening. Sometimes we go thinking, I have to talk, I'm going to be the one, but really just giving that, and I call it the time to think, holding that space, active listening, so that you hear what the mentees are asking of you and how you can support. The third thing is to make sure that if you have networks, opportunities, you make sure you connect the mentees to those opportunities, because that is part of growth. Opening opportunities for networks is part of growth. But also, maybe the fourth one I could add is also making it consistent, so that there's continuity, and so that it's not a one-off. Then if it's a one-off, then sometimes it's not helpful. That checking in, that follow-up, and that is what I loved most when Pooja said we need to have some follow-up conversations, because that follow-up also is an accountability mechanism for the people we are working with and supporting. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. All of your points were so amazing. All of your points were so amazing, but the one that stood out to me the most was your point that there should be active listening in regards to what the adolescent girls or the girls in the advisory board actually want, because from their perspective, they are the ones who are actually, if not aware, but they were actually feeling more of the issues for the adolescents themselves. So whatever issue that they're bringing forward is something that is obviously deeply felt by them. So by only active listening, you will actually know what to, which ideas to actually tackle, or which ideas to put into implementation for being tackled. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I see my photo has frozen, but I'm here and I can hear everything, but I don't know why my photo has frozen, but it's fine. I'm here. Yeah.
It's all right. Okay. Moving onward, we will now move on to our next two spotlight interventions. For that, we have Boringon, who is, I will wait for the slide to actually show up. Okay, thank you. We have firstly Boringon, who is a mentor with the World Economic Skills and Agro Development. And we also have Ruth, who is a program associate with Feminists for Peace, Rights, and Justice Center. We welcome you both here.
Okay, thank you so much, Roshna. Thank you so much. You girls have been great. Okay, I am Boringon Rita from Cameroon, a mentor at World Economic Skills and Agro Development. I am also the organizational learning and safeguarding focal point for one of the youngest girl advisors, that is Ako Vanessa, to be precise. Actually, Vanessa is 12 years old as at now. When she started this journey, she was 10 years old. Vanessa and I are from Cameroon, and it is of no news that our country is currently going through a civil war. Actually, Vanessa and I are from the English-speaking part of the country. So Vanessa has faced a lot of challenges at her age when our organization met her. Vanessa has suffered a lot, as in terms of she has been abused. She was not able to go to school for the past 4 years. Before she started this journey, Vanessa was not going to school. But when our organization met Vanessa, we had to engage with her, and we discovered that Vanessa has this desire to advocate for girls. She's into advocating for girls and fighting for girls' rights, especially girls her age who are struggling in countries experiencing civil war. So this experience, this AGIP experience, is one of the best and the first ever opportunity for Vanessa so far. When she started this journey, she was very hesitant to come on board this journey. But when she came on board, she discovered that some of the girls, or all of the girls, were very friendly, they were very caring, they were very supportive. She did not face any form of discrimination. And so far, Vanessa has had a safe space to navigate this journey. She has been doing great. As of now, Vanessa has been doing great. She has been advocating for girls, even in her school. She has fought so hard for girls' right in her school. And last year, her work was recognized by the principal of her school. I was there with her when the principal congratulated her for what she has been doing as far as girls' rights are concerned. And also, as her mentor, I have been supporting Vanessa as her learning and safeguarding focal point. I have also experienced a lot as far as this journey is concerned. At the community level, I have learned a lot so far as communication is concerned. I have learned a lot in terms of handling finances. I have learned a lot in terms of advocacy and also in this mentoring journey. So far, I would really like to appreciate the organization AGIP for this opportunity, because it is a great opportunity for girls to be included in decision making. Most of the times, we just sit and we make decisions for these girls without even listening or consulting these girls to actually know what they think or feel. But for this first ever opportunity to include these girls, to really sit on the table and make decisions for themselves, is something worth applaudable. So I am really excited for this great opportunity. Vanessa was supposed to be here today, but she's writing her end of term exam and she cannot be here today. But with time, Vanessa will be sharing her reflection with us and on our social media pages. So far, I am so grateful. I want to thank you all for giving me this opportunity. I also want to say that the need for girls to be included on the table to make decisions for themselves should not be overemphasized. I want to recommend to other organizations, and I'm also taking this to our own organization, that girls should sit on the table and make decisions for themselves. They should be part of decision making. I think this is a better way for us to see these girls through and to make a better future for these girls. Thank you so much. Vanessa and I, together with our organization, will be much available to collaborate with any other projects that will be coming our way. Thank you so much, Rashna.
Thank you so much, Corinton, for sharing Vanessa's story. It is very disheartening to hear what she has been through, but it is also simultaneously so empowering to hear that she was able to translate this thoughtful moment for her into something so empowering for other girls as well, and for her as well. Because within this process, she, I'm sure, feels empowered as well. And it is also amazing to hear that there were platforms like AGIP that are helping you and Vanessa to take on these opportunities and work with adolescent girls who are facing the same problems at such a young age as well. Now I will be asking the questions to Ruth as well. Ruth is also supporting one of AGIP's younger girl advisors, Shian. Could you please answer what your assessment is of how Shian is doing? And we would also love to hear on your own learning in the process of supporting Vanessa. And finally, your top recommendations to other organizations and allies that are wanting to include girls in their decision-making spaces.
Thank you so much, Rushna. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to appreciate AGIP for granting adolescent girls the opportunity, the space, and the resources to take part of this, to be a part of this process. It has been really a learning journey for everyone within our community. My name is Ruth Juliet Ochieng. I'm the Programs Associate of Feminists for Peace, Rights and Justice Center that is in Nairobi, Kenya, one of the young feminist organization here in Kibera. Kibera is one of the largest slums in Africa, and we are glad that we are making a difference within this community, that young girls like Shian, who I'm the focal point for, is making a difference within this community. So as a young girl who has been born in this community, and as also Shian, who is a young girl who has been born in this community, there are so many hurdles that are within this community. And Shian has been able to be a part of this program because AGIP was intentional about involving young adolescent girls, involving young girls from different areas, from different backgrounds, and one of them is the informal settlement, which we do not take for granted. And looking at the journey of Shian within AGIP, I will say that it has been a great journey for all of us, being there to watch what Shian does, being there to walk this journey with Shian, to mentor Shian, and also being there to just be a sister to Shian has been one of an experience that I will say every young girl or every person needs to feel. So Shian has been in this journey for the last 2 years, and I will say it has not been also easy for her because she took the role when she was also sitting for her final primary examinations, and she has really tried to be to balance life and the AGIP role. And I will say that within this community, we are very confident, we are very happy that one of us was a part of this program, and that one of us has really been able to change, has been really able to communicate, has been really able to share whatever information that she gathers from this space. And walking through this journey also, I have been able to see Shian grow. I've been able to see Shian build her confidence. When we started, the confidence was a bit low, but right now, Shian can confidently speak about the issues that are affecting girls within our community, the issues that are affecting girls within all over the world, because she's able to relate with the issues that are affecting her in this informal settlement and with the issues that are affecting other girls in different areas. And she knows very well that the issues of girls can never have any barrier, can never have any geographical difference. And in whatever thing that she does, the girls' issues are at her fingertips. The girl's issues are at heart, and that she's able to relate, she's able to voice up for any girl within the space that she is in. But above all, she's also able to defend herself. She's able to communicate for herself and ensure that she thrives in the space that she is in. And that has been be possible because AGIP granted her the opportunity to be a part of this incredible space. And also just having the opportunity to network, it has been an exposure for her, and just having to connect also virtually, which some of us, most of the girls, do not get an opportunity for that. It has also been it has also enabled her to also build the confidence and just be able to connect and share with other girls within her circle. Another thing I will say that I've also had an incredible experience being there for Shian, because I've been also I've been able to monitor her a bit. I've been also able to share those opportunities that I've had, and also for her to also share the opportunities that and the information that she gets from this space. And when we see that mentorship for us, it's never just a one-way mentorship, but intergenerational mentorship is what I learned from this space. It has been a reverse mentorship for all of us, and it has been really great for everyone, because I've been able to learn a lot from Shian, and her peers also have been able to learn a lot from her. What recommendation will I give to any person that is here is that we need to invest in girls. We need to have confidence in girls, and we need to be there to support, to mentor, and ensure that take into consideration the issues that the girls raise. Because if we do not give that opportunity, if we do not give that shoulder, then at some point our girls will will not have the confidence to continue with whatever thing they want to continue with. They can never have the courage to fight for their rights. So it is upon us to ensure that we invest in girls' rights, we invest in girls to be in these decision-making spaces, and above all, that the decisions are really taken into considerations. Thank you.
Thank you. It is very delightful to hear how much Shion is conducting herself and learning and growing and within a space. And it only shows that with this vast experience that she is getting at such a young age, also, she would only go on to do so many more amazing things and empower so many of the adults and girls that are surrounding her and locally as well. So thank you so much, Ruth, for adding your input to today's discussion. I would also like to add a few lines on safeguarding policies and overall what AGIP is providing for guidance and mentorship as I am an AGIP advisor. As Paula said earlier, I too felt a little bit more overwhelmed at the initial stage of the process, but because we have safeguarding focal points, we have mentors on the board, we have Pooja, and even the girl advisors that are from such diverse backgrounds, it just ultimately helps to be more comfortable in the space that we are working in. So that is something that could definitely be taken into note when forming such spaces or wanting to share decision-making power with adolescent girls. Moving on, now this is the part when we direct the audience's questions to our panelists. Okay, so we do have a question. There are many other organizations on this call who work with adolescent girls. We would love all of you to be invited. We are inviting all of you to be here, and you can raise your hands and you can take up the mic and you actually can ask the questions. So if anyone wants that, please use the raise hand option and take the mic. You can share a bit about how meaningfully you can engage with adolescent girls, or how in your organization you are meaningfully engaging with adolescent girls, and how you are promoting girl leadership. Anything do you have in mind regarding that? For this part, I would hand over the mic to Pooja. Pooja, can you please take the mic?
Thank you so much, Roshna, for facilitating such a brilliant panel. Everybody's insights were brilliant. We have definitely learned a lot. And we do hope that others who are joining us today have also learned directly from the recommendations of the girls who have been a part of these models, sharing what works for them, what we as adult allies need to do better, and the top recommendations that all of us need to further work on. At this point, I would request for the slide to be taken down. In a minute or so, if there is any attendee who would like to share anything about their work, their reflections, that would be great to hear as well. And at the same time, what I will also do is to initiate the closure poll to also hear from all of you. as to what your reflections have been. And while I do that, just allow me a second. I would also like to share that here I am just filling in for Darshana, our co-facilitator for the day. She unfortunately had to drop off due to weather troubles. And she just wanted to thank everybody for sharing their insights. But just give me a second and allow me to start the poll for all of you so we can hear from you. Can we have the slide up for the poll? But essentially, for all of the attendees today, we would love to hear what is your one key takeaway from today's session, especially with regards to including adolescent girls in your organization's decision-making spaces. The Zoom poll has been launched, so it should appear on your screen. If all of you can answer, that would be fantastic. We have received one response, and we hope that we can receive a few more. We will keep this open for a while, but in case you want to use the mic instead, please feel free to raise your hand and I can enable that feature for you. Just last 30 seconds to respond to the poll. You can also use the chat in case this function doesn't work for you. Okay, I will end the poll and share results. I hope everybody would be able to view the details, but takeaways around, let me quickly see. There's a lot of good experience for the organizations to learn from. We have learned that there needs to be more active listening, and openness is certainly the key to truly allow girls to lead, and for other allies to adjust their programs accordingly. So it's really meaningful for the girls. Brilliant. And with that, I would just like to finally sum up today's event as a wrap up. I encourage everybody to think more about how you can include girls in your programming. It could be in any format. It could be whether it's an internal decision making or it's an external program, it's an event, anything. There are so many ways to include adolescent girls. And we've heard so many recommendations on how we can overcome any of the barriers that we feel there are to actually include adolescent girls. We, with many other organizations who have similar girl-centered initiatives and girl advisory models, know that any of those barriers can actually be overcome with thoughtful, meaningful planning, especially the one that's co-created with adolescent girls. So thank you everybody for joining us today. As I close, I do want to share something in Darshana's word. I do have her notes. And she had to hop off, but she said that by working together, we are making a lasting impact, proving that when girls have the power to make decisions, real change happens. Let's continue to push for changes that will allow all girls to not only be heard, but to truly lead. Some powerful closing words from Darshana. And at this point, I would just like to thank everybody for being a part of today's incredible session. For the next steps, we will be visually documenting the AGAC journey of AGIP and amplifying the same as a learning resource early next year. So stay tuned, stay connected. And I would also like to, at this point, thank all of the speakers who shared brilliant insights today. Thanks to the girl advisors who did a brilliant work in putting this event together. All 12 of them. You could only see a few today, but there are a group of fantastic 12 leaders behind this, many of whom couldn't join today, but helped co-create this event together. I would also like to give a special shout out to our interpreters, Yvette and Sadie, who are not just interpreting today's event, but they've been with us since the beginning of the AGAC journey, which was in March last year. And they've been consistently with us for these more than about 2 years now, for every single monthly meeting. And they have been very much a part of this AGAC journey, supporting and cheering the girls on. So thank you so much. And yeah, with that, thank you, everybody. This is the start for weekend for a lot of us. So have a restful weekend, stay connected. We will be amplifying the documents very soon. And do find more ways to include girls. Thank you, everybody. All right. With that, we close today's session. Thank you.